Welcome to our 5th anniversary of our live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studios. I got some cupcakes here. Casey was supposed to make some, but she got sick when she come back from Vegas, so she paid for the cupcakes at Bethel Bakery. I'm going to get Chip one of his chocolate ones. Start them right out. There we go.
Thank you, Alan.
Smoking Jim. This is the best white on white I could get.
Thank you,
Just
sir.
remember the icing was white until he put a little food coloring in it. Okay.
I love it.
I'll get one with an A on it. Can't believe it's been 5 years. Devin, if you want to come in, just come in and grab one.
5 years, and I came in on episode 3.
Yeah.
Devin, come on and get a chocolate.
Well, Devin's doing everything right now.
Man of many hats.
Yes, he is. And want to thank you for watching the show. We appreciate it, especially our 5-year anniversary show. You got any extra napkins?
Oh, yeah, I got a napkin.
Send me one down here,
I'm going to
please.
send you several because Chip needs some.
There we go.
I try not to
Yep.
make too much.
Thanks
of a
to
mess.
everybody watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. We appreciate you. And I was in the dollar store the other day, and a lady standing next to me, staring at me, an older lady. I didn't get her name. And she goes, "It's nice to see you in person."
Wow. I love it.
Thank you, ma'am, for watching us. I was just heading out the door. Didn't know. And all the rest of the people saying hi and goodbye throughout the neighborhood. Watch us on Verizon 32,
Princess up.
which is everywhere in the Pittsburgh area, up to Nemacolin from Cranberry, Wexburg. It's just amazing where you can see us on this. We appreciate it. We're at 6,400 likes and holding there. And we appreciate you watching our shows and liking us. So it means a lot to us. We've only had the page up 3 years, so we appreciate all those likes and looking for some more every day. We're going to have some sports to talk about, and we start our opening with what's on your mind. And can't wait to hear, well, I might as well ask it. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind? I'm going to grab a bite of this cupcake.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
I got it.
you got the C. Levine. What's on my mind is the Pittsburgh Sportsline team of the week. And we can pretty much guess who won, but I'll go through some preliminaries. West Allegheny 33-7 over Upper St. Clair, 2 undefeated teams going at it.
Big upset.
Brandon Lipford, friend of the show, had a touchdown catch in that one.
Lippard.
Lippard.
L-I-P-O-R-D.
O-R-D, okay, I spelled it wrong. Lippard. I'm sorry, Brandy, to his mom. North Allegheny 28-21 over Penn Hills. Always a good
Always a good
beating.
day on the east side of town.
Yeah, I always enjoy
Good
that.
place close to Monroeville, right?
Yeah, that's it. And the Pittsburgh Sportsline team of the week have to go to the Clayton Bears, 52-16 victory over Aliquippa. The Pittsburgh Sportsline player of the week, honorable mention has to go to Zane Dudick for Armstrong.
Yep.
346 yards rushing in the first half only. He
quit the game.
yeah, they were blowing him out so bad. He broke the single season WPIL rushing record. He has over 2,200 yards with 3 regular season games to go. I've been on the phone for the last 2 weeks with Stanford, trying to get the young man into Stanford University. He deserves it. And, of course, the Pittsburgh Sportsline player of the week goes to Clareton's own Lamont Wade, the number 1 rated cornerback in the country, rated in the top 10 in all positions in the country. He had 255 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns, also passed for 95 yards and another 2 touchdowns, and topped it off with a very nice pass interception. So Lamont Wade, Pittsburgh Sportsline Player of the week.
And I know, Jim, that had to hurt to give Clayton props.
Yes,
it
is.
But I want to tell you something. That game was one of the sloppiest games I've ever seen, not in the way that it was played, but in the conditions that it was played in.
Yeah.
The whole second half, the center of the field was underwater. It was incredible. I watched it while I was nice and warm and dry at my house.
Good. Smoking Jim, were you there?
I was there. Was able to get there early enough. Got a small press box. I was in the press box, and matter of fact, before the game, me and Lamont Wade was talking because he was sitting in the press box too.
Get on. Very good. Great reporting. Appreciate it, Smoking Jim. Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Thank you, Alan, and good evening, everybody. And what's on my mind? Look out for the Pittsburgh Steelers, huh? 4-1. Well on their way to being the favorite of the AFC. They've got a couple of stiff challenges coming up. Not so much this week, but, I always say a game against the Dolphins like we've got this week, it's a trap game. This is the kind of team that the Steelers have a tendency to overlook, knowing that the Patriots are going to be here the following week. So I'll be really interested to watch that. But what is most on my mind about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and something I have had about enough of, it needs to end, is Mr. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is making himself the headline story of the Pittsburgh Steelers season so far this year, but not by the way that he's performing on the field. It's the way that he is acting against the rules of the NFL in their uniform code and the way he celebrates after his touchdown catches. Now, whether you agree with them or disagree with them, when you play in the NFL, there are rules that you need to abide by, okay? And every time you break the rules, there's penalties that are added to that. So it starts out with a nominal penalty, and, well, I'm Antonio Brown, and I'm a boss, so I don't have to listen to anybody, and I don't have to abide by the rules. So you continue to act like a fool, and the penalties go up. And so is that going to stop you from doing that? No. Well, what's going to end up happening next is he's going to continue rubbing it in the face of the NFL, and the NFL is going to win like they always do. And what's going to end up happening to Antonio Brown, whether you agree with the rules or not, is he's going to get suspended, and he's going to hurt his team. And at what point does somebody on that team or the coaches or the ownership say to him, you know what, you need to stop making this about Antonio Brown, okay? I understand you're trying to market your brand, okay? And you're trying to set yourself up for when you're done playing football. Well, here's what. While you're under contract, why don't you concentrate on being a better teammate and not putting your team in a bad place. Now, so far, none of his antics have cost the Steelers a game. But what happens when it does? What happens when the NFL says, you know what, we're tired of this, we're going to suspend you? And yes, it's foolish that he should get suspended for something like celebrating a touchdown, but there are rules for a reason, and you have to abide by them whether you like it or not. But that's what's on my mind tonight.
Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it. What's on my mind is the Steelers, but Cam Hayward. He had such a great game the week before, and he hurt that hamstring. He's going to miss his first game against the Jets. So not only is it a trap, but our best defensive player is missing his first official game. So that's not a good sign. I'm a little nervous about it, not for the win, but just with the defense there. They were showing some signs of life that they could play some football, which was nice to see even through the secondary, linebackers, and pressure on the quarterback. So it's good stuff that we're seeing it. I'm still holding to that 12-4 record, so this just ties in with it. And the way Big Ben is, it's unbelievable to get almost 400 yards this past week. And
15 touchdowns in 5 weeks.
And you got to give credit to the offensive line. We've had some injuries. We had a guy fill in for the first time. Hubbard did a great job. We had Finney last week. Ramon Foster was back. They're giving him tons of time. And, if you give Big Ben time, the way he improvises, they're there. If they're covering somebody frees up. So it was great to see Sammy Coates. It was terrible to see the start of the game. And he did hurt himself, got 17 stitches. He come back and made some catches at the end, which that helps. And we've seen this before with him, and we're going to have to put up with it. He would have had well over 200 yards, 3, maybe 4 touchdowns. It's just amazing what he left on the field there. And he had a great day. So it was exciting football to watch it, and I'm glad I did. Let's go Steelers. We're on that bandwagon. So. All right, for anybody new to our show, we have segments that we do. And the first segment is Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I read this one with heavy heart. Former Pitt and Pittsburgh Steeler player who was drafted in the 4th round. At 87 draft, Lorenzo Friedman passed away, and he was coaching with his good friend Matt Morgan, another great player from Pitt, at Plum High School. I believe this year Plum was 0-5, but they were still well coached. But he passed away. But that 87 draft brings back a lot of memories. That's maybe one of the greatest drafts in Pittsburgh Steeler history. You had Rod Woodson, which was a steal right at the top of the draft board.
That was a curse buster.
Huh?
It was a curse buster.
Yeah, that's it.
No curse with that pick.
You had Belton Delton Hall in the 2nd round.
Mm-hmm.
In the 4th round, you had Thomas Everett,
Yep.
who was an outstanding free safety. What a hitter. Greg Lloyd was in that draft. You had Merrill Hodge in that draft, and you had Sammy Coates. Dwight Stone was also in that draft. So nice to go down memory lane with the 87 draft, one of the all-time great drafts, not only for the Steelers, but in NFL history. And rest in peace, Lorenzo Friedman. What a great gentleman.
You know, just to speak to that draft, the previous year when Rod Woodson's senior season at Purdue, Jim Everett was the quarterback. And I actually saw Purdue play Pitt at Pitt Stadium that year.
Yeah.
And, Woodson was all over the place. And I do believe Pitt ended up beating Purdue that day. But Jim Everett ended up being an accomplished NFL quarterback, and Rod Woodson, well, he played his way into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, one of the greatest players ever.
Yeah, I was at that
NFL
game
history.
too. Rod played some wide receiver, and he played every defensive back, safety, and yeah.
Hope you enjoyed us reminiscing a little bit here. Thanks, Smoking Jim.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
it. All right, we're going to go to one of my favorites, Chip Hayner's Trivia Time.
Okay, well, thank you. And also, Jim and I were talking off air before the show started, and I mentioned the passing of another great athlete, this time not from the football field, not from the gridiron, but in the annals of boxing. And he was a boxer who came up out of Cincinnati. His name was Aaron the Hawk Pryor. And he was quite an amazing fighter at a time when there are quite a number of Hall of Fame fighters in the lower weight classes back in the early 80s. And if you ever want to see what a truly amazing fighter he was, go back into the archives, dig up a copy of the first Alexis Arguello-Aaron Pryor fight. I remember watching that fight on HBO, back in the day, and what did I tell you something? That was one of the greatest fights that I ever saw. Alexis Arguello was a legend at that time. Very few losses, and he put people to sleep on a regular basis. And he gave Aaron Pryor everything he could, and Aaron Pryor just ate it and ended up beating him in I believe
15-rounder.
Split decision. So you want to find out how great of a fighter Aaron Pryor was. Everybody was afraid to fight him, and you watch that first Arguello fight, and you will see what a fighter he was. But sad that he passed, but he had his moment in the sun. So now that we've got that out of the way with, on a different note, we've got the baseball playoffs that have started, and so far 2 teams have been eliminated. Well, actually 3 teams have been eliminated in the American League. Of course, the Baltimore Orioles lost the play-in game, the wild card play-in game. The Toronto Blue Jays swept the Texas Rangers, and the Cleveland Indians swept the Boston Red Sox.
Did they?
Right on, Big Papi
He's gone.
His season ended. So, we've got the National League Series, both at 2-1 each, with the Washington Nationals up 2-1 against the Dodgers. And you've got the Cubs up 2-1 against the San Francisco Giants, who happened to win in 13 innings last night at home. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Clayton Kershaw is pitching for the Dodgers tonight.
They're playing already. They started at 5.
On 3 days rest, and last I heard it was 2-1 Dodgers. But Clayton Kershaw just hasn't had the success in the postseason that you would expect out of a multiple Cy Young Award winner. Hopefully he gets it together for tonight. But that makes me think of something that, I have never witnessed this happening in my lifetime. I don't think that Alan has ever, and I'm sure that Jim hasn't, because he just recently celebrated his 29th birthday. Again.
Did he?
No. On October the 8th, 1956, 60 years ago, it is the only time this has happened in the history of Major League Baseball, Don Larson pitched a perfect game in the 5th game of the World Series against the Brooklyn Dodgers. It's never been done since. And to be honest with you, a perfect game, that means there was no walks, there was no errors, there were no hits.
No hit batsman.
He faced 27 batters, and 27 batters made outs. That has only happened in Major League Baseball 23 times. Has there been a perfect game? There's been plenty of no-hitters. A no-hitter, just nobody gets a hit. You can have walks, you can have errors. It depends on the way the game is scored. So Don Larson's perfect game is one of 23 perfect games in Major League history. The only other no-hitter in Major League Baseball history happened on October the 6th of 2010. The great Roy Halladay no-hit the Cincinnati Reds. He was pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies at that time. So you think about that. In all the years that they played baseball, they started playing the World Series in 1903. And, 113 years later, there's been one perfect game, and the no-hitter that Roy Halladay threw wasn't in the World Series. It was just in the playoffs. So those are some events that we should take note of and take a moment to reflect on.
Definitely.
Also, I'm going back to October 7th, 1904. And this caught my eye because we talk about the age of specialization and 5-man rotations. And I brought up the fact that Denny McLain a few years back was the last pitcher to win 30 games in a Major League season. And I do believe that is, again, another one of those baseball records that will never be matched. But here's one that I find even more interesting. A gentleman named Jack Chesbro in 1904 got his 41st victory of the season when the Yankees defeated the Boston Red Sox 3-2. 41st victory. If a pitcher, in a 5-man pitching staff, the most starts you could get are 32. 41 wins for that season. What an accomplishment. Next, I'm going to go down to October 7th, 1961. And I bring this up because 1961 was a great year. It was a great year because a Yankee broke another Yankees record. Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's record of 60 home runs with his 61st home run. Well, New York's Roger Maris won the 3rd game of the World Series with a 9th-inning home off of Reds pitcher Bob Perky. The Yankees won 3-2 at Cincinnati's Crosley Field.
Bob Perky, to interrupt, has an insurance agency right down the street here.
Really?
Been here forever. Yes. And he was a pirate, I think, at one time, too.
Well, isn't that great? And
Give you a little trivia on top of trivia.
I bet you he doesn't think fondly of Roger Maris.
I would think not.
Winning the game, hitting a home run off him. But
1 year wonder.
Oh, I wonder, don't you, Jim? Also, because, I am a very... I feel very strongly that the Chicago Cubs will not win the World Series this year. And I have gone on record in saying that. And I just want to kind of, reminisce back to like one of the few times that the Cubs almost made it to the World Series and didn't. And I go back to 1984. The San Diego Padres won the National League pennant with a 6-3 victory over the Chicago Cubs in the final game of the playoffs. the Padres won 3 straight after dropping the first 2 games. And again, the Cubs were the lovable losers, but not so much lovable. They're just losers. And, that year was a year that I enjoyed very much as a baseball fan, because that was the year that the Detroit Tigers had the greatest start in baseball history. Yes, it was even greater than the Chicago Cubs start this year. They started out the season 35-5, and they went wire to wire in first place and won the World Series. Kirk Gibson was the center fielder for the...
and the manager was...
Sparky Anderson, and he won his World Series. He won one in the American League and one in the National League. And he's also the only manager to win over 100 games in each league. So, it was a great season for the Detroit Tigers. Hopefully I can find some marker on that while I'm in Detroit tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. And then I've just a couple of others going on here, and this one caught my eye, because this was actually the very final game that Roberto Clemente played in his Major League Baseball career. And this happened on October the 11th, 1972. And a pitcher for the Pirates who died, unfortunately, on his 29th birthday in 1976, Bob Moose's wild pitch in the 9th inning allowed George Foster to score the winning run as the Cincinnati Reds beat the Pirates 4-3 and captured the NLCS in the 5th game. That was the last game that Roberto Clemente would roam right field for the Pittsburgh Pirates or anybody else. Kind of bittersweet that Roberto ended his career like that, and who knew that that would be the last time that we would see him in a Pirate uniform.
3,000 hits, a loss, unbelievable.
Then finally, one of my favorite players of the 80s, late 70s, 80s, who, what did he do? He teased the country with chasing Ted Williams' record of batting 400, was George Brett. George Brett, 4 hits, including 2 homers, led the Kansas City Royals to a 6-5 comeback victory over the Toronto Blue Jays in the 3rd game of the ALCS. And I do believe that the Royals went on to win that series. I believe Brett Saberhagen was pitching on the mound for the Royals that year. But just a couple of things.
Remembers him.
Just a couple of things that I thought I would reflect upon here. Cut my trivia a little short this week. There'll be more to come next.
Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it. Before I get into our On Location, I want to thank everybody for watching us on our 5th year anniversary show. We have over 400 shows. I got to thank the community of Bethel Park for the public access TV, Director Dave Cable, all the volunteers that have been here. Today, we only have one volunteer helping out that I know, Devin Shea. He leads the league every year in over 100 shows. He's just prolific in what he does. And I got a cupcake for him. He just won't come in. He's busy in the control room. And we appreciate you watching our show and the great feedback in our community and people watching us, Tuesday through Saturday, and we're even on Mondays. We just appreciate that our show's out there and out and about in the community. And, we're bringing a spotlight to people in our community like Joey Fabus. We bring our Joey Strong, Stay Joey Strong. Poor kid died of DIPG before his 9th birthday. We do that. Then I got to at least shout out to Olive Oil's Pizzeria. And one of my favorite guys there is Zach the Man. He's just a nice guy there, one of the best in the area. Give him a call, 412-831-1900. Stop in there at Hillcrest Shopping Center. They got stuff going on. And since we do stuff for the community, these guys talk about their organization or group, but there's funds, there's grant money, $100 to $5,000 for people in Bethel that have a group and kids that they want to do some stuff with, or you just apply to bpcf.org, get an application, put it in there, and they'll meet on it. We'll meet on it. I'm on the board also, and we'll see what we can do to get money your way for good things. So it's just an honor to be here doing our show. I know we have a lot of fun doing this, and we appreciate the airtime every week. 1 hour every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock to 8, sometimes a few minutes after 7. We've started a little crazily a couple times, and we haven't missed too many of these shows, so appreciate you watching, and we got more for you. And we're going to continue to do this. Who knows how long, but this 5 years went like a blink of an eye. So it's just
Seems
an
like
honor.
5 minutes.
It surely does. We have a lot of fun doing it, and hopefully you're interested in a lot of the things that we put out there. So thank you. On location, we were at Atria's PNC Park like we are the second and fourth week of each month. Had a nice group of guests. We had guests from West Virginia, and they're putting together boxing on the 19th with different fighters that we know, from the handsome hitman Himes to Matt Conway fighting for another championship belt. So you have to check out November 19th at Wheeling Island. Jim Frio and Tommy Wilson were great guests, and the video's up. I already posted it up on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Dave edited it quickly, and it's up there. So you have to hear Smoking Jim again in his opening and how he gets crazy with his What's on Your Mind. Sponsored by Skeets Service Station of Skeets Lewandowski. But yeah, we had some fun. Anthony Griggs is a co-host on Championship Chase. I just started seeing him on the show because my DVR was a little fouled up, but I did get to see the show, so I watched the last couple, Smoking Jim. They changed that format. I'm not going to get into it, but it was much better last year, in my opinion. So we'll just go from there. And he brought his daughter and son, who go to Hempfield High. They play basketball, and Smoking Jim was trying to get the young son who's in 8th grade to go to Gateway. It's not happening. And he also runs track, and he's a pretty fast kid. So they were both good interviews. So check it out.
Don't worry, Jim's got deep pockets.
Well, I don't know if he can get him in on that. He got to get the mother too, and the dad already said no. And Anthony Griggs was a football player for Philadelphia and the Cleveland Browns, and his claim to fame, Chip, you always have trivia. He has a piece of trivia. They were both on the kickoff team, and they were on the same side, same team, Coach Cower and Anthony Griggs. Well, Anthony Griggs was one of the up guys that had a block the guy that come in next to the kicker. Guess what? He missed him. Ran off the field, and he hears him yelling, "Cower's down on the field." That was Bill Cower's last play as a player. He got injured and was done. So that's his claim to fame. But listen to this.
He turned him into a head coach.
He gave him a new career.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
he brings it up a lot of times, and Anthony always tells him, "I got you started on your coaching career." And it ended up that Cower hired him as a special teams coach with him, and he spent 15 years with the Steelers. So we got a lot of great stories, gives some great insights on Championship Chase. And then last but not least, our biggest guest ever in history of Pittsburgh Sportsline, 6'8",
Wow.
boxer, personal trainer, Michael Shook made it to our show after a 1.5 2 year hiatus. So very interesting interview. It was great to have him here, and he's moved out of the city of Pittsburgh. He lives up in Tarentum, and he's going to fight there November 19th.
Wow.
So he come back to boxing. He had a hiatus, just come back and won. So a lot of good stuff's happening out there in the community, and you have to keep tuned in with some of the people that we bring on as our guests and friends there. They're friends of the show too. So that's all I have. In 2 weeks, we'll be back at Atria's PNC Park, 7 o'clock to 8, with another great show. Let's move on here. We have our subjects. We started on Steelers a little bit. We might as well just go right into Steelers.
Okay, let's go into the Steelers.
Let's
when
go.
When was the last time that a Pittsburgh Steelers team had the top-rated quarterback, the top-rated wide receiver, and the top-rated running back in the NFL?
Never.
2 years ago.
No, I'll tell you what, the offense is clicking, and Le'Veon Bell is just amazing. You know, if he could take his off-the-field problems and get his arms around
Well, let's
those.
see if he's serious this year about getting tested and not making excuses, since Smoking Jim calls any time you put a reason out there that you don't do something, it's an excuse. So that's what Smoking Jim's MO is. He brings it up all the time.
But
We'll see what happens. But he's playing fantastic.
The thing that's starting to trouble me is we got all the players at the skill positions that are doing well. but it's the people that make the players in the skill positions, able to perform. The injuries are just unbelievable.
Well, the offensive line's a shining light with what they've done and what they're doing.
Ryan Shazier,
a lot of brittle brothers out there.
Ryan Shazier, I want him to be on the field. But I'll tell you what, we haven't missed a beat with Vince Williams. He's played well the last 2 games. What are your thoughts?
Well, we can't beat New England without Shazier. He's the only one that has a chance to cover Gronk. But before I get into that, I got to give Al Levine the Tonka machine another pat on the back. He's right again. I thought once in the NFL you play 4 years, you start getting your pension as you're running down the sideline, but they have to wait till they're 55. So you were right. I didn't know that. And Anthony Griggs.
Thank you.
Anthony Griggs, I believe, is pension eligible. Just say that. Also,
wow, where did you get all this information?
It's a smartphone.
Okay.
And also, just wanted to just say real quick, I believe the young man was from here, Bethel Park area. The outstanding boxer, Justin Brooks, recently passed away. So great family, mom and sisters, outstanding, loving family. And I tell you what, he kind of reminded me of a little Sugar Ray Leonard. With a lot of power for his size. Always had a big smile for Pittsburgh Sportsline.
I call him 12-pack.
That's right. I forgot about that.
The best abs. He was on our show.
Well, 2 6-packs, huh?
He had 2 6-packs. He was cut up like you couldn't believe.
Yeah.
So it's a sad day to see that he
So
passed.
rest in peace. I wanted to throw that out there. I'm sure a lot of people in the community here at Bethel Park not only knew Justin but loved him as well as we did.
Yep.
But I agree with Chip as far as the Steelers are concerned.
When are you ever a yes man with Chip?
Yeah, the injuries are mounting up.
It happens.
And the thing that I think that is happening right now, and the Steelers foreseeing that with Williams, is he'll eventually take over Timmons' spot.
Yep.
I've been saying all along that, in my opinion, Shazier's not a middle linebacker. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are deep in the middle. Not just Timmons, but Williams. They got the kid from Temple. That's going to be an up-and-coming middle linebacker. No, Chicolo's on the
He was
outside.
from Miami.
What's his Make-A-Wish?
Yeah.
Whatever the kid's name.
Yeah,
Dirty
Make-A-Wish.
Red. They call him Dirty Red.
Yeah.
But he's going to be, I think, maybe as good as anybody they've had since Jack Lambert. He's just a natural. But I always said I would move Shazier to right outside linebacker. You don't take the beating there. I think that he could scare a lot of people there. And with his pure speed, he's the one guy that we have on the team that can consistently get after the quarterback.
And Jim, we have talked about this since he was drafted. From the day he was drafted, when Tomlin said he was going to put him inside,
and maybe
from that day that Tomlin said that, you have been saying he is not an inside linebacker. And I listened to all the other experts because I listen to talk radio when I'm out in my truck on the road, and just more for the amusement's sake of it. But there are so many people that seem to think that he is an inside linebacker. And I'm telling you what, the fact that you've got to start James Harrison at 38 years old as an outside linebacker, hey, it's a testament to his dedication, his commitment to his training regimen and everything. But, you say we've got depth at the inside.
Right.
What could we lose by putting him on the outside?
Exactly.
You've got Jarvis Jones, and I don't see how
too
anybody
slow.
with a straight face can say that they're impressed with this level of play. All I do is see him chasing backs. I don't ever see him being at the point of attack and putting his shoulder pads into somebody's chest.
We have to give kudos to Smoking Jim on that. He called him too
He
slow
did.
when he started here. He said, I don't care what he did in the SEC or whatever. Number one.
And he got hurt again last week, and now it's the wrist. Okay, so the one thing I will say that I am proud of the Steelers is that they didn't sign him for the 5th year.
Good point.
Because if you've got to go to tactics to try to motivate somebody to play, okay, you're playing for a contract, and I'm sorry, but he's coming up short. He is.
He's done that since he got here.
I'm not impressed with him. And you look at Shazier hits like a truck, and he's fast enough to cover backs, tight ends, whatever. He could cover wideouts. I'm sure he's that fast. I don't think moving him to safety is the answer.
Well, he won the race with everybody here.
Yeah, he sure did.
So he is fast.
I have to back my friend Jim here, and I do believe that what could you lose by starting him on the outside?
Good point.
We'll co-sign that with Smoking Jim Frazier.
Yeah.
We're behind you, buddy.
Well, and Jim and I have disagreed on a number of occasions, and we will in the future. But this is one chance. I absolutely
won
agree
this
with him
debate.
Yes, you did, and I'm man enough to admit it.
That was no debate. It wasn't even close to debate.
Well,
we had no monitor.
See, here's the thing. When Jim makes comments, when he points out things to me, because I know about his passion for football, it's kind of like my passion for baseball, right? I start paying attention to some of the things that he says because first I want to see if I can bust his chops. But then if I can't bust his chops, it opens my eyes to something that I may not have seen before.
And you more so than most other white guys, you understand Ebonics.
Now, how did you bring out the race at this late hour?
He understands me.
No, he doesn't.
No,
he truly doesn't.
I'm a smart enough man to defer to somebody that's got a little bit better knowledge about a certain subject than I may have.
It's only specifics of what you're talking about, Smoking Jim. The Ebonics, we don't even know where you come up with.
But I'll tell you, for all the passes that Sammy Coates dropped, and you think really, last year was his rookie season, but I really look at this year as his rookie season. And I can remember another receiver who had trials and tribulations like he's having right now that ultimately ended up being a Pro Bowl receiver, Plexico Burress. When he started with the Steelers, what did he do? Spike the ball at the 10-yard line one time? Dropped a lot of passes, but he actually became a very accomplished receiver. Do the Giants make it to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots without him? So
he could run a route.
If we're being successful with him going through the learning process, and you got to give the kid credit. He's 17 stitches in his finger, and they numbed it up so that he could stitch it, and he still played the whole game. It's not so brittle, huh?
Well, he tried to overcome those drops, which he did.
No, he did. He scored 2 touchdowns, and right now, he's the receiver that stretches the field for us. Antonio Brown now, as the center of the field opens up because they've now got to double Sammy Coates because he's got the speed to beat people deep.
Well, you bring up a good point with Antonio Brown, which he doesn't like to hear it. He's becoming a decoy on many of the plays, and he's distracting the other team from what they need to do, so the other guys are open. So I'm waiting to hear from Brown as this happens more often. Yeah. He did get his quota of catches and didn't get a whole lot of yards, was under 100.
The one game that really kind of made me scratch my head because, Antonio Brown likes to say, well, I'm not one that likes to bring attention to myself. And as I was holding both my sides laughing, the only game that I didn't really hear him complain was the game when we lost 34-3.
Yeah.
And he had 12 catches for 140 yards. We didn't hear a peep out of him. The team stunk. They couldn't score. We got our butts kicked all over the field, but Antonio was happy. He got 12 catches. He got 140 yards.
He really couldn't say anything about it because he wants to be a team player. He is a team player.
Except
he does work hard.
Except when he gets 4 catches.
he does work hard, so we'll have to see what happens.
No, and there's no question. But I mean, my point earlier with is he just needs to go out and be the best, okay? And your actions will speak for you. You don't need to clown around. And sooner or later, what's going to happen is he's going to hurt the team. He's going to get suspended because the NFL isn't going to continue to let him rub their face in it.
Maybe he'll be a little bit like Odell and maybe just tone it down.
Hey, you know what? James Harrison adjusted the way he played because he hated writing $100,000 checks to the NFL. So James Harrison, who was at the time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, if he can make an adjustment and continue to play in the league, anybody can.
And Antonio Brown is a hard-working guy.
He is. There's no question about that.
They say he's first on the field, last off the field, and does all the work in between. So he's made himself into the greatest receiver in the league.
Well, do you guys know what happened with the shoe stuff? I mean, he was able
Well,
to
here's
honor
what
Arnold Palmer.
He didn't get permission for
he
this.
got permission to wear the Arnold Palmer shoes the week before. Apparently, he did not get permission to wear the shoes that he was wearing, and the NFL officials came to him and told him to take the shoes off, or he was going to get ejected. And he refused to take them off, and it finally took Mike Tomlin coming to him and said, listen, get the shoes off, get your other cleats on, and get back in the game. So,
Well, some of it shows being childish. He had Muhammad Ali shoes on.
you know, and,
So,
and there's
and he assumed. He was saying that he assumed that it was okay.
You know what they
can't-
say about assumption, right?
You can't even do that. So
Well, are these shoes that he's marketing?
of course it is.
Oh, that's why you were saying it's business.
That's right.
Okay.
He's marketing his brand. See, when I took my tour of PNC Park, just to give you a for instance, we went through the locker room of the Pirates, and of course they had the players' lockers roped off. Well, Andrew McCutchen has his locker with his chair and his personal items in it, and he has an equally big locker to the next of him that's just full of merchandise that people send him trying to get him to endorse it.
Wow.
Okay, and I mean boxes of shoes, bats, gloves, you name it.
That'll cut down.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But, you know, so I'm sure Antonio
It
gets
never
that. And
stopped
if
this
Antonio
year.
takes somebody's shoes and said, look, I'll wear them in a game, you know they're writing him a check.
Oh,
Because
well, I got you. I
he
got
isn't
you.
doing it for free.
Okay, good point. Good point.
So,
Yeah, because I didn't know what the deal was. I'm like, how's he getting it?
and now you know what's going to happen?
every week.
Tomorrow, or wait, Thursday, is that when they get their fines? He's going to get another fine. And he's going to sit there and say, you know,
I don't know if he'll get a fine.
you know,
Good thing the Steelers kicked him up over $10 million for this
well,
season.
the point of the matter
Fines
is
start to add
that, you
up.
know, if the fines are not a deterrent, then they're going to have to do the next thing. And what is the next thing at
Time
the
off.
fines? Right. Okay. And there, at that point, it's no longer funny. You're hurting your team. This is a team game. Every one of these games they play, they're going to mean something.
Well, if
What
they-
happens if the NFL says to them, "You're suspended for the Patriots game"?
They won't do it because the union, the strong NFL union, would fight that.
Yeah, strong. Yeah, they're the ones that didn't get them guaranteed contracts. They're the ones that gave Roger Goodell power to administer whatever discipline he wants, whenever he wants, because, you know, they were greedy. Not the players were greedy. The union reps were greedy. They wanted to make sure
They got
that
a
they got
CBA.
theirs.
They wanted to get that CBA. They got it. They didn't think it would affect them like that.
Yeah, and then they were foolish enough to sign the agreement for 10 years. So, you know, the guys that are, you know, are at the end of this are going to benefit from the next strike, and there will be one. They're in high school playing right now.
Wow.
You know, so the guys that are playing right now, their careers are going to be over and done with by the time this CBA is done with. So whether you like it or not, you got to live with it. Thank you, union.
There you go.
Good point.
Thanks for your point. We got that
Sometimes I
covered.
have them.
You got it. Anything else on the Steelers, Smoking Jim?
No, I think we covered it.
You sure?
Okay, so what about the bombshell yesterday, Alan?
The bombshell.
The bombshell yesterday.
Oh,
Sidney
yeah.
Crosby is concussed again.
He's under the concussion protocol.
Well, he was out on the ice skating by himself today. He said he felt pretty good.
I heard his interview.
And the uproar.
Did he know where he was at?
yes.
The uproar
He
yesterday.
said, I know Smoking Jim.
The uproar yesterday was that everybody was speculating that he sustained a concussion in the World Cup.
Yes, it did. Yes, he did.
And, well, according to Sidney, according to the head coach, the
team.
the concussion happened Friday at practice. Now, he was out there, the team was out there on the ice. They practiced for 90 minutes as a team, and Sid was out there for an extra 30 minutes going at it hard and heavy, and people were kind of like, you know, okay, you know, I mean, you just got done with the World Cup. I mean, dude, it's training camp, you know. But Sid trains like a maniac, okay?
Yeah.
And, you know, you give him his props for that. Somehow, something happened.
They got an entanglement or
and,
something.
and, you know, and he said that he felt fine Friday. He woke up Saturday morning. He had headaches. He didn't feel right. So he went to the trainers, and they pulled him from the preseason game against Columbus on Saturday. And they set him in for tests, and, you know, he They determined that he was in the concussion protocol.
Now, how did he get it? Just
An entanglement
somehow
during
in practice. I don't know.
and nobody
what
got
happened.
cut by hitting Cindy Crosby. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
rookie. Oh, it's just a rookie mistake. He got hurt in the. They don't want to hurt that
Smoking Jim,
international
the World
game.
Cup's been over, so
Yeah.
You know,
Wasn't
Jim,
there.
I don't know. If there's anything that we know for a fact is that we're never going to find out what the truth is.
Especially from hockey.
Yeah, they say upper body injury.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you've got a severed arm laying on the ice.
yeah, they
You know
don't
who
give
else
it.
is a bunch of liars? Is the people down there in the Stiller organization. I mean, this garbage with Bud Dupree. Now he's on injured reserve. Never even let us know that the guy was even hurt.
Didn't he have to have some type of surgery for a torn
his
groin or something?
hamstring, groin. Or
I
hamstring, one
thought it
or
was
the
a
other.
torn groin muscle.
He
but-
tore the groin. Wow, that's brutal.
Was out all camp, everything, and never updated us. That's hurting. Although I like Chicolo, he's starting to come on.
Yeah,
looks
whenever
good
plays.
out there.
There's so many injuries, and the one thing that we thought was going to
Brittle
be
brothers.
we thought was going to be the Steelers' detriment this year. The secondary is not the cause of great concern. I mean,
What?
Yeah, they.
Brandon Marshall caught about 20 passes, and
Yeah.
they're giving the kid
how
credit.
many touchdowns they score? One.
And the guy had it right here, and Brandon Marshall just took it off of him.
Right, but
Brandon Marshall had as many drops as
they didn't
his
score.
coach.
So what I mean. I judge a defense on what the final score of the game
That's
is.
a good point.
Well, you have to,
I mean,
because our opinions will still be our opinions.
and now granted, they're giving up 300-yard quarterbacks to almost every team that's played us this year.
Yeah, they're the worst in the league in pass defense.
316, I think.
I let facts get in the way of.
No, I seldom do. but but they've
It's a lot of
they've got
yards.
an offense that can match anybody
Oh,
score
yeah.
for score,
Oh yeah,
score for score.
They have the time to throw.
yeah.
Definitely,
And
they got
that's
the
it,
players.
yeah. They keep Ben upright. I think he could set records this year, maybe even NFL records for passing yards.
If he gets hurt, we're done.
Oh, you don't have that faith in Landry Jones?
And that's why and that's why the Steelers make me mad when they put Brown back on punt returns in a blowout. If he gets hurt, we're done. Sammy Coates is a one-trick pony. He can only go deep. That's the only thing he can do. He can't even return kickoffs.
It's not a bad trick to have.
No,
That's a good one.
Mike Wallace made a $60 million as a
But
one.
if Antonio Brown gets hurt, he's going to have to do a little
Right.
bit more than that one trick, and he can't.
Yeah, Antonio Brown would have made the difference in the Denver game last year. In the
Yeah, we'd have won.
Yeah.
Even Le'Veon Bell would have won. Either one of them would have played.
Mm-hmm.
And we
That's
would
the
have won.
past.
Yeah.
it's
We
the
know.
past.
It's what we do
We
this
have
year.
Martavius
But
Bryant.
get on to who would have thunk that the only undefeated team in the NFL would be the Minnesota Vikings, and they lost their number one quarterback. They lost their number one running back. They've got Sam Bradford, of all people,
They're on
guiding their offense, and that
on
team
fire.
just does nothing but
He's
win.
not making mistakes. He's playing like a number one draft pick
Yes,
should,
he
which he
is.
was.
Yes, he is.
So he's playing to his
and
potential. right
Zimmerman, what a coach he is. He
Yeah, Mike
shows-
Zimmer, yeah.
He says, we're not making excuses. We're going to.
Yeah, we're suiting up.
was
They're
it,
not
yeah.
going to cancel the games. We're gonna show up and play them.
Good coach.
now.
And then you've got the Carolina Panthers. Their record's the exact opposite of the Steelers.
Did
They're
we
1-4.
call that last year? We says that Cam Newton lost his team in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He lost the respect of his teammates in the Super Bowl.
What do
He
you
did.
think the loss of Josh Norman made to the Carolina defense?
Instead of 1-4, they would be 1-4.
Okay, that's what that's what your opinion is. I mean, he was the quote unquote their shutdown corner.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, that remains to be seen. But
He's good.
He made the
Carolina.
money. He signed for the money.
Now, and look at how Cam Newton was targeted in the first game of the season. Denver beat him up. How many helmet-to-helmet hits did that went unflagged?
And his teammates never came to his rescue.
Well, if you're not willing to try to cover a fumble in the
Exactly.
Super Bowl,
Exactly.
okay, you're going to stand there because wait a minute, I might mess up my uniform. I'm going to get my picture taken.
Yeah.
You know.
Might break my dab hand.
You know.
Dab hand. Well, yeah, you're right.
He had his day in the sun there for a little bit.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a one-hit wonder like Colin Kaepernick, you know.
And there's a
One
guy
shot on the big stage. And,
What are you talking about? Kaepernick's jersey is one of the highest selling jerseys in the NFL.
Right.
and he got a start this week.
Did he really?
He's going to be starting.
Really?
Yeah, Chip Kelly's going to start him.
Yeah.
He said it's strictly a football decision.
Yeah. He announced he will be playing.
Wonder how many of his
You missed
veteran
it,
linemen are going to block for him.
Well, we'll see what happens there. We can kid about it, but they'll block for him, I'm sure.
No, they're professionals. They're professionals, right?
Truly professionals in everything they do. They may get a little tired, though. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Smoking Jim, what else do you got here? You always got something going on. Where are you going for football this week? Anybody, or
You know what?
or you're passing on football this week?
Yeah, football this week is.
Who's your teams?
I think I may take a peek at the Woodland Hills and Plum.
Woody Hills?
Moon. They play Moon this week.
Where at?
They're playing
At Moon.
at Moon, so I may take a little peek out there. Maybe not.
You do some traveling. Where's Gateway at?
I'm not sure where Gateway's playing this week. I can't wait for them to play Franklin Regional. That should be a showdown game with two of the powerhouses in the state. But the one good thing is it's getting close to City of Pittsburgh Hall of Fame, City League Hall of Fame.
When's that coming up?
It's going to be November 6th at the John Hines History Center.
You said that.
Place holds 700, and just can't be honored enough to elect the guys to go into the Hall of Fame, being part of that committee, and I've said it publicly.
I heard you are the committee.
Yeah, pretty much. I count the votes, so
Well,
you know how that goes.
Yeah, one.
Yeah,
You're in.
Yeah, so I count the votes, so I pretty much put the people in. But I've said it publicly before, and I'll say it again, that people ask all the time why Big Cat Williams, who played for a number of years and played well with the Chicago Bears, is not in, and Russell Friedman, who was the starting left tackle for the Denver Broncos, is not in the City League Hall of Fame. And I told people, and I'll say it again publicly, just in case they don't know, and I'll put it in the paper in case they miss it here, that as long as I'm on the committee, Big Cat Williams and Russell Friedman will never get in, because back in the mid-'80s, Alderdice played Gateway. Gateway blew them out, of course, but Big Cat Williams and Russell Friedman beat up a couple of my boys from Gateway. So as long as I'm on a committee, they will never get in the Hall of Fame. And
So this is truly bad blood.
that's a
You have bad blood.
And, you know, and one of the things I'm most proud of,
Bad
knowing
blood.
Jim Frazier as long as I have, and he's not one to carry a grudge.
But he does recognize bad blood between folks.
he stomped some. They stomped the players out there, man.
And he does
Never get it.
recognize bad blood, and he does keep it alive.
That's right.
So that's a
That's
couple
right.
good things.
That's
He
right.
got a nice smile, but he keeps that alive. So now I understand that. Doesn't make sense to me.
I don't issue out pardons.
Just a little update on our baseball playoffs. Dodgers are up 5-2 in the 7th inning.
Wow.
Clayton Kershaw is still on the mound.
Wow.
Who they beating?
Nationals.
Wow.
That's gonna tie the series at 2, get it
2-2.
down to a game 5. It's
thought
a
it was
5-game series.
I thought it
They'll
was at
play
8
on
o'clock.
Thursday, I saw.
I thought it was at 8 o'clock start. I was gonna miss.
No, the late game is the
8:30.
Giants and the Cubs.
The Cubs got to play 2 days in a row.
Yeah,
Let's shut 'em out.
those poor things.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
lost
close
in
it out.
13 last night.
I know. I listened to it
Yeah,
on the
you
radio.
know, one thing is for certain, Arrieta's not unhittable this year.
How about the home run, the 3-run homer by Arrieta?
Then he hit off of
Mad-
Madison Bumgarner,
Wow.
which broke his scoreless streak at 24 innings.
Really?
And
which had never been done.
in elimination games. That was
No.
an elimination game that Madison Bumgarner has just been basically unhittable in. But he did get hit, and you know,
Only stayed for 5 innings.
And the Giants still were able to pull out the win in extra innings. So
A lot of home runs being hit.
Yeah.
No, it's some exciting baseball. If you do like baseball, the wild card did liven it up this year.
Well, actually,
Definitely.
everything's been livened up. I mean, I love playoff baseball. The cream does rise to the top. I kind of like Toronto in the Toronto-Cleveland series, and the Nationals, the Dodgers, I'm kind of indifferent to, but I certainly do want to see the Giants come back and end the Cubs season, because it seems like in even-numbered years,
Yeah.
the Giants somehow find a way to win the World
Don't
Series.
they have something like 11 wins in a row in elimination games? The Giants?
Something along that line. Their record's pretty incredible, but they've won the World Series in 2010, 2012, 2014.
This is 16.
There you go.
There you go, Smoking Jim.
Even year.
There you go.
See if you'll be watching
The
tonight
curse
on that
will
98-inch
continue.
screen tonight.
The curse will be extended to 109 years.
You've been calling, and I got to go with my Cubbies.
Okay.
Smoking Jim come out of the woodwork. He was easy on that one. Well, now we'll see what happens to me. I don't care who gets in there. I just like watching good baseball.
I love
pitching,
it. I love the
hitting,
game.
the strategy.
I got accepted into this Facebook page, and it's by invite only, and it's baseball 1857 to 1993.
I'm not.
And
in
the
there.
reason why
I'm
they
in
named
it,
this
Chip.
page is because they feel that after the strike of '93, when they canceled the World Series, that the game of baseball changed, and that garnered in the steroid era, which tainted all of the records, and
They put out some good things.
But they do.
put a lot of-
I've seen some really
That's when I
great
stopped
pictures
watching.
of Manny Sanguian, Blast,
Really?
Doc Ellis's.
No, they put a lot of great stuff out
Yeah,
there.
I
enjoy it. Yeah, I've
enjoy
been
it.
in there. Yeah, I'm like you.
I enjoy it. I stumbled across it. I liked it, and I was accepted. So
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that.
No, it's good stuff. Smoking Jim, you have to. You're not a big baseball guy.
I
Stay with
stopped
football.
after '93. Yeah,
Yeah.
You did what?
I stopped after
No, you
'93.
didn't. You didn't even know what it was before then. You're a funny man, no doubt about it. So you don't know where you're going this weekend. Maybe Moon.
I do. I know where I'm
Where are you going?
I got the walk to ends Alzheimer's on Saturday morning. We'll be
Let's put that
walking
out.
in honor of my mother. Team Gina Bell. There is a link on my Facebook page if anybody's interested in donating. But we've been doing this now. This is the 5th year in a row, and in the memory of my mother, who had dementia and Alzheimer's, and
cause.
Alan knows how debilitating this disease is, and hopefully one day we can
Get a cure.
find a cure for this disease.
No, good luck.
See for the Cubs.
Looks like Cleveland. Smoking Jim, you got more.
You realize it's been since 1948 since Cleveland won the World Series?
He didn't get it.
That's
didn't
31 years longer than the Pirates.
He didn't get that memo. He's a little
Just
slow.
thought I'd let it know.
He's a little slow on some of that stuff. Well, hey, I appreciate all the insights. We had a good show, a lot of great information, especially a lot of facts from Smoking Jim Frazier. Can't believe it. We covered a lot of ground. Thanks to all of you out there watching us. Devin Shea, appreciate all your work you're doing on the cameras, the control room, and just putting us out there to the public. And I just want to thank everybody again. This is our 5th year anniversary, and we appreciate it. And stay Joey strong.